What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a special random Saturday off-season edition of 49ers First Takes. We've been meaning to do this for a while, me and Peo time. He's a giant Rams content creator. He's a really good guy. We've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm like, let's talk off-season.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do for the next hour or so. If you're interested in hearing about your division rival LA Rams for the next hour or so, come join us, whether on the live stream or the rewatch, and leave your comments down below or in the chat. And yeah, let's just get to it, man. Like, it's been a while since you've been on the channel, and I follow you somewhat, you know what I mean? I'm a Niners guy, so I'm not going to sit there and watch a ton of Rams content, but I do follow you. I keep track of you. How are things going on the YouTube side of things? How, like how is everything with the channel going? Like, how are you in general?
Aaron, dude, thank you so much. Yeah, I feel like we talked about collabing like 2 years ago and haven't since. So it's been too long. Anyone watching on my channel, I'm glad we're streaming to both our channels here. And don't worry, I didn't become a 49ers fan. Just Aaron's the one that scheduled the stream. That's why you see it. And yeah, dude, YouTube's been a lot of fun. I like to think my channel, I have the most fun possible on the internet just talking about the LA Rams. And they're my favorite team. This season was a crazy season to be a Rams fan. And a Niners fan too, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yep.
But yeah, no, YouTube, it's a journey. It's been a lot of fun, and excited for the future of the channel and seeing where what happens next. I mean, I feel like we're just in like the calm before the offseason. The storm is about to start because free agency's coming, and yeah.
Because we're both. It's weird because a lot of fans from both fan bases, they develop like a personal hate with the fans of the team. And I'm like, I'm just not a fan of the Rams. I don't like the Rams, but I don't hate on anybody because they cheer for a different team, and especially not you. You're probably one of the most genuine, nice people, and your content is very I'm more of a half empty glass type of guy. I come at it with more of a negative angle. You're pretty equal, you're pretty just level. And I think that's one thing about your content that I think that people like about it is you are just a Rams fan. That's what you are. I've watched some of your before and after videos and your excitement before a game. And then if they lose, you're like, but you're still yourself. You're not swearing. You're not flipping out about it. You're just you stay even keel. And I think that's why a lot of the people who do watch your channel on a consistent basis appreciate it.
Can I tell you something funny about those before and after reaction videos?
Sure.
So almost every one of them, there's always especially when the Rams lose, there's always these trolls that come in and they're like, you faked the before. They accuse me. And there was I forget what game it was. There was one game I got ridiculously close in my before to the actual outcome of the game, and all the people in the comment section are like, you staged it. I'm like, no, I actually record it, and now I actually record it while I do my watch party so people can see me do it, because I'm not I know a lot of people do skits and stuff like that, and that whole series was literally you know what, I just want to be genuine, and so you gave me a huge compliment saying that, and so it's a genuine reaction before and after the game for a Rams fan, and that's why I do it.
I'm so quiet before games because I'm always thinking of the worst possible outcome. I'm not easy to be around when I watch football.
Okay.
I stay to myself. I mute my TV because the announcers irritate me. I'm not happy when I watch football. If they win, I'm happy after. But I'm such an emotional fan that it affects my daily life. Especially when we lost the Super Bowl the second time to the Chiefs, man. That was a hard one to get over, because of just how good the team was and how they should have won. And it's that's just how I am with it. So me doing a pre-video would just be hey, I don't really know what's going to happen. Are you a fan or not? Like, are you that miserable? I to some extent before I watch games and even watching games, I'm pretty miserable. If the Niners start to kick some butt and they're playing well, and I start to get a vibe that the season could be successful, that's when I start to kind of get a little bit more excited and like maybe let my guard down, because it happens with me is anytime I let my guard down, they end up breaking my heart, the 49ers. Especially this year with all the injuries. Like,
Yeah.
everybody's like, "You're not. How are you?" Like, whatever, and you're like, you're just refusing to go along for the ride. You're refusing to, just have fun. I'm like, listen, we get the number one seed and we don't deserve it because of the injuries, and then we lose in the first game because we're just not really that good. Like, I rather the way things ended with us just getting stomped by Seattle, and just it showed like the deficiencies of our roster and the injuries. That's kind of like that's how it should have ended, right? Like,
Yeah.
so like it was more, I kind of expected it. And like, I don't know. I'm just one of those people, like, when good things happen, I'm like surprised.
Yeah.
Me.
And I'll just ask this question. So, like, is it a fair assessment to say that the 49ers overachieved this year, given like making the divisional round of the playoffs with all the injuries?
Oh, I'm so old school, man. I'm like 46 now. I grew up in an era where it was like Super Bowl or failure. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failed season. Like, that's how like Jed or Eddie DeBartolo was, kind of like Steinbrenner was with the Yankees. Like, if they didn't win the World Series, the season was a failure. And that's how they looked at it. This year, um, as long as people don't like go overboard with it and kind of keep repeating it, like, we overachieved, we overachieved. We did overachieve. But let's not look at it as some sort of badge of honor.
Yeah.
We still fell short of the mark and we didn't achieve what the ultimate goal was. Did we overachieve in the sense that we were hurt all year and we were missing 65% of our roster, mostly on defense? Yeah. Did we need Ayuk this year, or would it have helped? Sure. Pearsall being injured all year hurt us? Sure. So but yeah, I just I look at it in a, like, it's cool that they overachieved. It's cool that they, kind of fought through it. It kind of showed perseverance, shows how good of a coach Kyle Shanahan is. But at the end of the day, watching the Seahawks celebrate on our home field didn't feel too good.
I'm sure you wish it would have been the Rams, right?
No, it would have been even worse, because that would have been two. That would have been two since you guys got McVay as coach, and Kyle's 0 for 2. So with it being Seattle, it was less painful. It would have been you guys. I don't know, when you know as a Niner fan how close the Niners could have gotten to getting Stafford, with that whole situation where Kyle Shanahan went to sleep thinking that we were gonna sign him the next day or something, and then the Rams got him like overnight.
Yeah.
And then you see what's happened with Stafford and how good he is, and how you and him and McVay, and how you guys were really, like, kind of veteran heavy, and then you like reset and got younger, and like now you're back in it again. It would have been tough to watch you guys win another one in Levi's. Seattle still sucks, but I still think the Rams this year, player for player, as far as offensively, you guys are still. I still think the Rams were the best team in the division, as if you look at just offensive talent. Seattle defensively, but like I always fear the Rams more than I do playing Seattle up until these last two games that we played against them.
And I appreciate you saying that. I'm going to be honest. Looking at this Rams team, like, coming into the year, the expectation was Super Bowl, right? And those were fair expectations. There were some concerns about Stafford's back. There was concerns about our left tackle, Lyric Jackson's. He had some blood clotting, but both those players were phenomenal all year, which was great. But I can't help but like have this lingering thing of like the Rams just they had the talent to win the Super Bowl, and they had the offensive firepower to put points up on Seattle. It just, there were a couple of key plays that the Seahawks made over the Rams, and you can't help but think, special teams was one of the deciding factors in both the losses to the Seahawks this year, both in Week 16 and in the playoffs. So I have optimism about the Rams moving forward, but yeah, that NFC Championship game, it was a heartbreaker. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Daniel?
With the Rams, to me, when I looked at you guys, like one of the reasons I think you guys gave Seattle a better fight as far as like, one of the things you need to have against Seattle is you have to have legitimate threats on the outside at receiver.
Yeah.
You have Puka, you have Devontae Adams, and you have a really good running back in Kyrie. Is it?
Yeah.
Kyrie Williams?
Kyron Williams and Blake Court. Yeah.
So you have two, and then you have an outstanding quarterback, and you have a pretty damn good offensive line as well. So that's why I think, if you look at it just pure like optics, and you see like the Rams kind of not exposed, but like it shows that like if you have a pretty substantially good offensive weapons that they're like, not that they can be had Seattle, but they're not unbeatable. You know what I mean? And the Niners were just, no Ayuk, Pearsall hurt all year. Kittle was hurt a lot of the year, in and out of the lineup. Essentially, it was the McCaffrey show all season, right?
Which is like still like it's a fun show,
Yeah, but the Niners just watching you guys and seeing how you guys took them, at least it was more of a threat. Like you guys had an actual chance to beat Seattle. I look at it and I'm like, okay, and I know what the Niners need to do now. Number one, they got to get some speed on offense, but they got to get some guys on the outside that can threaten those corners in Seattle. And, they got to shore up their offensive line too, because it's like, okay, the two things that we struggled with against Seattle in that game where we just got absolutely shellacked was nobody was getting open downfield and we couldn't pass protect. You guys do those two things pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think it just came down to, like you said, a couple plays here and there. But I thought in my heart, the Rams were going to win that game. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I just fear McVay and Stafford. And I fear McVay and Stafford, not necessarily the receivers per se. Like they are really good. They're like top 10 guys like Devontae and Puka, but having a veteran, unbelievably good quarterback in Stafford and having an outstanding coach. Those are the two things if you have a chance, right?
Yeah.
And then you just put the cherry on top of the ice cream. You have two really good outside threats, and all of a sudden, and you guys got multiple tight ends that catch the ball too. So it's like, okay, yeah.
I loved the Rams' use of 13 personnel this year, and like every one of the Rams tight ends truly had like at least one game this year where like, oh, Colby Parkinson's good. Oh, Davis Allen is good. Oh yeah, Tyler Higbee is good. Oh, our rookie Terrence Ferguson, like he's coming on strong towards the end of the year, and it was really cool to see that tight end room really shine in some big moments this year for sure.
Yeah, you guys doing a really good. Where the Niners have struggled the last like 4 years drafting and just had some pitiful drafts. The one thing that the Rams and the Seahawks have done really well is they've drafted well.
Yeah.
The Niners are third in the division right now. They're behind, and can they? We'll get into the offseason in a second, but like, can the Niners with a good draft this year and some good free agents pickups get right back into it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like people just think, well, it's 3 years away. No, not really. You can have one really good offseason where you make the right free agent moves, and then you bring in some really good draft picks, and then you put on top of what you already have, and all of a sudden you're right back in it. But seeing what you guys were able to do against Seattle, seeing what Seattle is, the Niners knew exactly what they need to do to get better. You got to block, you got to pass protect, and you have to have threats on the outside. Yeah, if you don't have guys outside that can get open against one-on-one coverage against a team like the Seattle, and then you're beat. And you guys were the closest to, I think, showing that like, okay, if you have a damn good quarterback and a good coach and some weapons, you can give them a run for their money. They're not going to smoke your ass and the game essentially be over in the second quarter. So, yeah.
Before we get into off-season talk, I do have a question I want to ask politely. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, very proud of the Rams this year. Absolutely. And I don't ask this to be a troll or anything like that, but the past number of offseason, the 49ers have seemed to always had some sort of off the field story that was like a weird distraction. Like I know like Juwan Jennings last year, Brandon Ayuk, Nick Bosa had his stuff going on, right? Is there any like thing on the horizon that could be like that like late off-season drama for the Niners that seem to always be lingering?
I mean, Ayuk's out the door. He's not coming back. A
Yeah.
lot of people that follow the 49er closely that, beat writers or people that, cover them closely don't think Jawan's coming back. For the most part, the Niners got some pretty good soldiers on their team that don't really stir the pot. Yeah, the Niners have had a lot of drama the last couple off seasons, and that's what happens when you're successful. Even though we didn't win the Super Bowl, and players are good, and then they start to know their worth and their agent, and then they get signed to big money. Like that kind of stuff starts to happen. It seems to happen more to teams that come close but don't make it,
Yeah.
as opposed to teams that get there and win. I don't know. Yeah, and I'm sick of the excuses too, because a lot of 49er fans, like fellow Niner fans, the one thing I don't like is excuses. Like, oh, if this person and then this, then like, it's just like you got to play the cards you're dealt when the season happens. And then even with the injuries this year, like until the 49ers figure out a way to like actually take the threat seriously that they have a ton of injuries, it's going to continue. The whole substation thing, everybody laughs at it. The front office laughs at it. The owner laughs at it. And it's like, what are you laughing at? Like, you cannot seriously be a threat every single year if you constantly have top 10 in injuries over the last decade other than 2023. Like, there's a substantial problem. Like, there's a literal problem. And the fact that they kind of just like it's not that big of a deal. That really bothers me. So right. Go ahead.
I will appreciate Kyle Shanahan when he was asked about the substation, that like he answered that as well as you can, of like, we're looking into it, right? Like, and why not? Like, even if it is crazy, you've had so many like injuries, it's totally worth being like, you know what? No stone unturned. If this is hurting our players, yeah, we have every responsibility to make sure our players are getting the best care and training possible, right?
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, John didn't really make any like thing that he were going to change anything. He kind of like blew it off like he always does. That's the one thing. Like one of the drama pieces that has been talked about that a lot of people, there's no proof, is that there could be some like front office shakeup where like they add somebody to the front office, maybe to help with the draft or whatever. There's a rumor going on with Larry Krueger, I don't know, some other people like, oh yeah, I've heard the same thing. Until that happens, then I'm not going to believe it. They do need, I personally think with the injuries and with the drafting that's gone, hasn't been good the last couple of years. As much as I love John Lynch, I think he's a great face of the franchise. He's very much like a CEO. He says the right things. He's a professional. He looks good in a suit. He talks well. But I don't know if he's a really good talent evaluator. And it's kind of proven it the last couple of years. If he somehow like moved into like a president role and they actually brought in a real GM, I think a lot of 49er fans would stop complaining, about the missed draft picks. And maybe they bring in a guy who takes the injury thing seriously and they actually address it. They're in a situation right now where Jed York has his two guys that he loves, and unfortunately, they're kind of stuck because they're kind of like a package deal, John and Kyle. So that to me is like the biggest off-season drama. Really, is like what's going to happen with this front office? Is something going to happen? Is John and Kyle finally going to nail the draft this year? Are they going to figure out the injury situation? There's not like a player per se that's causing a bunch of drama, but there is some underlying things going in the offseason where fans want to see if there's actually going to be changes, especially myself.
Fair enough. No, thanks for sharing. And I feel like every offseason around July and August, there's just this 49er drama that comes up from the ashes. And it's like, oh, yeah, the 49ers drama started. That means football's getting close.
Yep. Hey, there's not dude, it happened during the end of the Jim Harbaugh era with the Eldon Smith situation.
Oh, yeah.
We had domestic abuse from our fullback. All these bad things started happening towards the end of the Harbaugh Belkey era. What I think I kind of asked you, but like, what was your overall feeling for the Rams this year? Like, as a fan, like how what was your overall takeaway as far as the season goes?
That's a great question. If you have asked me like a couple weeks ago, there was still like getting over the L in the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've processed it. I've accepted it. This was a season I will always look back fondly on. The Rams were a fun team to watch. They played some really good football. They played in a lot of close games. They played in a couple of blowout games where they were able to really show like, okay, we are way better than this team. I think one of my favorite things when you follow a team closely, when like in this YouTube thing, you watch press conferences, you watch the roster move of like moving the practice squad of guys around, that third string or second stringer that has been undrafted and gets moved into a starting role. You cheer for him so much, right? And that happened this year. Like the Rams right tackle, Rob Havenstein, missed a significant amount of time this year. And Warren McClendon stepped in, and he's been with the Rams in like a backup role for a while now, but he played amazing. And, Rob Havenstein eventually did come back, but then kind of got injured again. Now he's happily retired, and he's the final St. Louis Ram, right? But
that's crazy.
So he's had a great career at locking down the right tackle position, but it looks like the Rams already have their starting right tackle in Warren McClendon because he stepped in and played really well. So I love like storylines like that, kind of on that like minor perspective, but also on the macro perspective of just like Sean McVay is the best coach in Rams history.
No doubt.
So like it's
one of the
cool.
best coaches in the NFL right now, period, man.
Yeah. And like it's cool recognizing, oh, this might be the best time to be a Rams fan for the rest of my life, right? And like I just want to enjoy that. And hey Kenny, I'll definitely get to this question in just a moment. But yeah, so like I just want to appreciate what this McVay era. You have a good GM in Les Snead, and you have the Stafford, at quarterback. I loved that he won MVP this year. That's so cool. The Rams haven't had an MVP since Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner in like the early 2000s. So it's cool to have that. And like Puka, Devontae, easy to cheer for them. There's a lot of players on defense that it's easy to cheer for. And this Rams pass rush is a lot of fun. So it was fun. It was cool knowing every Sunday you're going to get a quality football game from the Rams. Kenny, for that question, how do you feel about trading your first pick last season to get a quarterback this year? And now there's no man. So Kenny, I appreciate the question. I don't think the Rams necessarily made that trade with the get a quarterback in mind for this draft. They like Atlanta approached them. It got them 2 first-round picks this year. And honestly, I know a lot of people are saying the Rams are interested in Ty Simpsons. I personally think that's a bit of a smokescreen. There might be some truth to it. I don't expect the Rams to draft a quarterback this year. Jimmy Garoppolo seems quite content being the backup quarterback to Matthew Stafford.
Yikes.
I don't know if you've seen Jimmy Garoppolo press conferences like in the past 2 years, but like he loves like just being a backup quarterback. Like he is quite a content. And like McVay and Michael Four, the Rams' former offensive coordinator, they'd always hype him up and be like, "Oh yeah, like we believe Jimmy's still a starter in this league." But like I think Jimmy's played in 3 games. One of them was a game that meant nothing for the Rams, and then the others are just like he came in garbage time. So he seems quite content.
Yeah, with the Niners this year, I mean, like it wasn't the year we wanted, but yeah, we got 12 wins. Yeah, we made a playoff. We beat the defending champs in their own house,
Yeah.
which was, I think, a huge accomplishment just based on how many backups and street free agents were on defense in that game. But like you said, like if you're not a fan of the team, you don't kind of know the inner workings of, like you said, the practice squad, the draft, or whatever. And the Niners, they made some decent picks this year. I mean, they got themselves a slot corner, Upton Stout in the draft.
Yeah.
They drafted 2 defensive tackles in CJ West and Alfred Collins that look like they could be solid pros. Michael Williams, the guy we drafted, the edge player who's more of like an Eric Armstead type player. He's not really an edge rusher. He's more of an edge setter in the run game, run defense. Incomplete grade on him, but like there's some pieces that are that came out of the draft this year that, got some really good playing time, and some people will be like, well, none of them are stars. The Niners need all, big time players, but like maybe when you get better players back around them, like the Warners, like the Bosas, and then you add some other talent, those guys can kind of fall into the role they were meant to be. And then all of a sudden you have a really good, solid defensive rotation and depth. So there's that. And the Raheem Morris signing at DC, a lot of people are getting on him because he didn't really have any really good units that other than the year you guys won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. But his familiarity with Kyle Shanahan, his ability to run multiple types of defenses, and he's definitely a player's coach, which is good because the Niners have not have a lot of veterans anymore. They have 2 really good veterans in Bosa and Warner. So yeah, like when you don't follow a team closely, like especially when it comes to draft picks, like I don't know who the Rams draft. I only know what they draft when they come into a game and they start stomping us out. And I'm like, oh, who's that guy? Oh, that's that was their 2nd round pick this year. He did this, this, and that. I'm like, oh, now I know him. Beforehand I wouldn't have. That's kind of how it is. But I think any team, if you're not following it on an everyday basis. So yeah, it was, this year was, like you said, you guys, I really think that, like you said after the championship game that you said it hurt more than losing a Super Bowl. And I was like shocked. Like, I'm like thinking to myself, pale, like, no.
Wait, did I say that?
You said it hurt. I don't know. You said losing the conference championship. Like you said, you didn't know it was going to hurt this bad. Like it really bothered you.
For me, it was like, I felt like it's as if we lost the Super Bowl, which I still do think that, because I think if the Rams beat the Seahawks, I think they destroy the Patriots.
Oh, I think you guys would have. I think us healthy with Ayuk and Warner and Bosa playing this year, I think we would have beat them too. I have no doubt in my mind. A healthy 49ers team, not the mash unit that you saw this year, like going into the season 49ers. But yeah, that was a horrible Super Bowl, by the way. I watched the first half, and then I watched the Rise of the 49ers documentary on A&E.
Yeah.
with my mother. We watched the first 2 episodes, and then I went back to the game, and there was about like 10 minutes left, and I'm like, wow. And then you hear about the halftime show and just how lifeless everything was. I'm like, this Super Bowl sucked, man. At least like if the Chiefs are there, you can root against them. Or if you're a 49ers fan and the Rams are there, you're like, oh, I want the Rams to lose. I kind of was like that with Seattle, but it's like I didn't care. Like, I don't know. I feel
like the only like storyline that was really that interesting in the Super Bowl was Sam Darnold's redemption, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, and I saw a lot of 49ers fans happy for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, of course.
You guys was he 1 or just 2 years?
I forget. And 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. I don't know. I don't remember.
I just remember the game that the Rams and Niners played week 18. And it was Sam Darnold versus Carson Wentz.
Yeah, it's I was happy for him. And it shines a light just how pathetic an organization like the Jets really is.
Yeah.
I remember in that documentary, Brady made a comment of like the stuff that the 49ers did and what they accomplished, and how awesome it was being a 49ers fan growing up. Brady said, and he goes, "I couldn't have had this experience if I cheered for the Jets." He said that in the documentary. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, but like, and no shot to any Jets fans or content creator if you somehow see this, but like, I am so glad I am not a Jets fan and like have a YouTube channel covering like a team like the Jets or the Cardinals. Like, I don't want to. I would not. I don't think I could do it.
There's fan bases like the Niners who have people who make content that are popular that grift and that are rage baiters. You don't need to be a grifter or a rage baiter if you're a Jets fan. You can literally complain all the time.
Yeah, you can just be genuine. Yeah,
there's people that have to use the TMZ approach, and they have successful 49er channels, but it's like they're not even a fan of the team. They like to, it's all about dissension and like, I don't know, Brock Purdy's not the guy, or it's Kyle Shanahan. It's every live stream is like this huge discussion about just made up drama. If you're a Jets fan, none of that has to be manufactured. It's just, it happens. It's their coach. Like, nobody wants to coach under him. Like, it's literally like NFL Siberia right now to be a Jets fan.
Yeah. And I see Grant under 12. Yeah. Jeremy and I have talked, and he would agree with me.
I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to bag on the Jets.
Yeah. Let's circle back. I do want to talk about the big news that came out last week. The Rams and 49ers are going to open the season down under over in Australia. Yeah. I have to be honest with you. I've only looked up like Rams fan reaction to it. I don't have a clue what 49ers fan perspective is on it. I've been a bit of the echo chamber. I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on that?
49er fans are pissed.
Okay.
We don't want to travel.
Yeah.
Why do we have to travel so much? Like, we're already going to Mexico this year. We're one of the most well-traveled teams in the National Football League every single season. We have the least amount of rest days, the most travel log time. And it's just, we have coming off of a season with a bunch of injuries. The last thing you want when you have an injury-prone team or a team that's dealing with injuries is to be on like a 20-hour flight. You know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid. The league doesn't care, If you're going to do a game like that, do it in the middle of the season and have both teams go into their bye week.
Yeah.
If you want to do a game like that. But no, the Niners are probably going to play a bunch of Thursday night games and this, that, and the other. And then they're going to have two games, or they're not going to be at home. I'm just, man, I could care less if they played in Australia. I could care less if they played in Mexico. I'd rather them just play at home. Like, none of that really moves the needle for me at all. Yeah, Niner fans are just like, they don't care because they think it's dumb that we got to travel to Australia. Like, they're not saying like, yeah, let's go to Australia. Let's go tap into the untouched 49er Australian market. Like, nobody cares. Like, they don't. Yeah, Niner fans are not like that. The last thing they want to hear after coming off of a season like this, with the amount of injuries we have, is to have a team sitting on a flight for over, however many hours is to Australia after a season like this. Like, so yeah, we're not down with it.
Okay. No, thanks for sharing the perspective. And because I remember this got announced last year that the Rams would be playing a game in Australia, but it wasn't confirmed like when it was going to be. It was largely speculated and assumed it would be week 1, because it seems like that's kind of what the NFL is doing with these kind of wonky international games. And I totally see from the perspective, and I know there are some Ram fans from Australia that are so excited for this, but I definitely am a bit of a purist where I'm like, you know what, being an NFL player, it's all about routine. It's all about, your life is so planned out on your rest days, your practice days, what you eat, when you're doing, film study, when you
sleep.
A walk, yeah, when you sleep. And to have a week like that with like the is it like a 16-hour flight or something like that? It's a massive flight.
I wish I knew.
Difference. And I feel for the players, like, from that perspective. And I can appreciate like the excitement for like Australians, NFL fans to have that opportunity. But as someone who primarily cares about the Los Angeles Rams and their like success on the field, it is like, oh man, like I kind of wish we weren't going to do it, but okay, we're doing it. And I politely disagree with you. I think both for the Rams and the Niners, having this week one at like, because it's going to be like a Wednesday into Thursday game because of the time difference, things like that. I do think it's better to do that week one where it's your first game instead of you're coming off of a game and then traveling in mid-season.
Yeah.
Just that's my only like kind of pushback to it, but I totally understand how like it breaks the routine, which I feel for the players.
Yeah, and if you're being a Rams fan, you don't have to listen, or you don't have to have the injury thing always be a consistent thing that we talk about every single year. And like, it to me, when I think of traveling, I think of injuries because I think of sitting, swelling and all this other thing, sitting on a flight. It's not good for that kind of stuff. But the NFL is going to NFL and they want to make their money. And it's really all about money.
I will just add, I do take issue with this being a NFC West divisional game going over there. I would much rather be one of the AFC opponents or other like non-NFC West teams that the Rams play over in Australia. Just because, every year whenever the 49ers, play in SoFi, there is that narrative of like the sea of red. And I get it. Like that happens. The 49ers have a massive fan base. But and you're one of the few 49er fans that will like hear me out when I say this. The Rams fan base is actually growing in LA. And I know that like people don't want to say that. Like, they always mock the Rams, say no, they don't have fans, stuff like that. But that is not true. Like the Rams have been back in Los Angeles for 10 years now. They've had kids that are, going to Rams games. They're growing up. They're, becoming hardcore Rams fans. And I get excited for the day when the Rams and 49ers play in SoFi and it's not a sea of red. And that's something that like I do see coming slowly and it continues to, pick up. And it's been cool to see, the Ramleys growing. I know people will always, go with the narrative of all Rams don't have fans and stuff, but it's not true. And
I think it just has to do with the fact that they've moved so many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like fans don't want to get like re-engaged because it's like, oh, you're just going to pack up and go again. You know what I mean? Yeah. They were in St. Louis for a while, and they were pretty popular in St. Louis. To me, this whole Niners sea of red thing, it's cool and everything, but like if we don't win, I don't care. Like it only matters if you win. If you go to LA, like we lost that championship game a couple years ago there, where Garoppolo throws that interception right at the end. You guys rushed the quarterback, and it's like it sounded pretty loud in there. Sounded like there was a good amount of Rams fans in that stadium. Like when it matters and it's the playoffs and like all that other stuff, I don't know. It's almost like being a fan of a team that is going to be in the playoffs every year. Like why go to the regular season games? Just show up in the playoffs. That's what it seems like. Like you're going to be in the playoffs regardless. We'll see you guys in about 4 months. And then we'll come and we'll be all Rams fans in the building. But like, it is weird that, the Niners travel well regardless, no matter where they go. So the whole SoFi Levi South thing, it's like, whatever. We have won a Super Bowl in 31 years. Like I'm done with the Levi, like Rams still have more chips since, let's say 99. You guys won in 99. And then you won again in 2021. So since the last time we went to the Super Bowl, you guys won 2. So like, I don't know, this whole like made up drama rivalry thing. It's like, we're kind of in the back seat right now until we can, get another one. And then we can kind of rejoin that conversation. I don't know. I just get tired of all that stuff. You know what I mean? I don't get all like hyped up. Like, yeah, I hate the Rams. I'm going to go troll a Rams page. Like, Why?
Yeah, you haven't read my comment section after a Rams Niners game.
It's just so stupid. It's just like this weird pissing, like pissing contest where like, yeah, like I mean, we haven't won a Super Bowl in 31 years. You guys have won 2 since then. So like, can we really talk? Oh, so we have like a pretty good record against McVay, regular season wise, whatever. Like, it doesn't, until we win the chip, man, like none of that's, I don't get moved by any of that. Like it doesn't move me, but, so we're the off season is approaching. We got the combine in a little over a week, week and a half. And then free agency starts early March, second week of March. What as a Rams fan, I have no idea what the Rams want to do this offseason. What is it? What from all the people, the reporting, just all the blogs and social media posts, what kind of offseason are the Rams looking at? Are they be active in free agency? What draft targets, like as far as position, like what's going on with the Rams in that aspect?
Aaron, thank you for asking me. I am so excited for this offseason. The Rams have 2 first-round draft picks. They have over $40 million in cap space. They do have some free agents. I know if you ask most Ram fans, they want an overhaul of the Rams secondary. They have 4 of their corners that are free agents. I expect probably only Roger McQuarrie to be brought back. So a lot of Rams, like I've seen a lot of Rams fans be like, in my mock draft, I just took 2 corners. That's all we need. Right? But yeah, so I'm curious. There's some pretty heavy trade rumors that the Rams are trying to trade for McDuffie from the Chiefs. I don't know if that actually happens, but yeah, it's Granddad is a good dude. He's a Dolphins fan.
So is my brother.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, my brother's very happy about the way things have happened this offseason. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. So there is sort of a expectation that the Rams might have another all-in type of year with it.
Not surprised at all.
Because you also have an aging quarterback in Stafford that, yeah, he's coming off an MVP season, but you don't know how much longer you're going to have him for, right? And so I expect the Rams to make at least one big move. They always have at least one big signing or big trade every offseason, it seems. Last year it was Devontae Adams. And yeah, USA, death from above. I was going to talk about the Rams special teams. Let's tell it like it is. The Rams fired their special teams coordinator. I think it was week 15 of the season. You're in rough shape. Like, they lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Niners because of special teams. They lost, in the playoffs to Seattle because of the muff punt. The Rams special teams, they need an overhaul. They got the Browns' old special teams coordinator, Bubba. I forget his name off the top of my head, but that should be a good pickup for the Rams.
Bubba Ventrone.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Don't ask me why I remember that.
That's good memory. Yeah. But yeah, so I know a lot of Ram fans, they want the big, the big splash pay, get like a Max Crosby or something like that. But honestly, I'm more inclined that the Rams actually use their first round picks and just get some young corners or get some, more. I could see them going offensive linemen on one of those picks, but yeah, it's going to be an exciting offseason for sure. What about the Niners? What are you guys looking at for the offseason?
Oh man, they have a lot of needs. So the Niners are projected to have between anywhere from 42 to like 47 million under the cap. They did a big purge last year. They ate a lot of dead cap. And they haven't even done any restructures yet. So people say that could go upwards of almost 60 million. The Niners need to, my guy Sterling Bennett from 49ers Access, he thinks the Niners will go, or he wants the Niners to go free agency for offense and draft defense, like double down on the defense in the draft again. So, there's been a lot of talk, like, could the Niners bring in Alec Pierce from the Colts? Could the Niners trade for what's his name from the Eagles, wide receiver? I can't think of his name. Really good, big guy.
Antonio Brown. Or not Antonio Brown. No, AJ Brown. Sorry.
AJ Brown. There's a lot of that. Essentially, the Niners need to do is they need to get faster, and they need to have guys that can actually get some yak. Guys that can threaten corners downfield. So, and their offensive line needs help too. The Niners have a lot of holes. The Niners have an aging roster with not a lot of depth. So, I see the Niners making one, possibly two big free agency moves. I see them bringing in possibly an offensive lineman, maybe like a left guard or a center. And then I could see them maybe going after, say, someone like Kyle Pitts, a tight end to not only help while Kittle is out, but eventually, as Kittle is, he's kind of injury prone as he's gotten older. He takes a lot of abuse because of the way he plays. I could see something like we were talking about that on the stream yesterday with the guys. Like, how would the Niners, and a lot of them were like big on like, hey, someone like Kyle Pitts becomes available. The Alec Pierce and the Colts thing, a lot of people think the Colts are going to end up re-signing him. He's big, he's quick, he gets open downfield. His yards per catch are like 22 yards, which is amazing. I don't even know what the Niners is yards per catch, probably like 6 yards. They catch it and they get tackled immediately. The Niners need an overhaul of speed on offense. As far as the draft, if the team really comes at us with a big trade for Mac Jones that really blows their doors off, the Niners would definitely accumulate picks. And I think the Niners just need to do what they did last year and I would love to see them draft another edge rusher, an interior pass rusher, a free safety, a left guard, center, another corner. The Niners are going to be busy this offseason. They need to infuse this team with young non-injury prone talent, and it needs to happen quickly. I think they need to use every bit of cap space they have in order to improve this team. You know what I mean? Like everything. Like be like, now, I don't necessarily be like the Rams, F the picks or whatever, but like if somebody becomes available that is just a no-brainer and they want a first-round pick, go move the first-round pick. We've been awful in the first round drafting for years. Everything should be on the table, Peo. Everything. No stone left unturned. When you have the kind of year we had where we were deficient, we had a talent deficit, we had a lot of injuries. Everything should be on the table this year, man. If you're really truly serious about winning and kind of getting back into that race in the NFC West with Seattle and always the Rams, then this offseason needs to be aggressive. They go into free agency and they kind of screw around and they get a bunch of like mid-level free agents, and then they go into the draft and they do the same thing as they usually do, which is like completely biff the first 2 rounds and then get a bunch of stars in like the 4th or 5th rounds. Fans are just not going to have it. So Niner fans are excited and hopeful that this offseason will be different than many off seasons past.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's impossible to have a first round bust if you never draft in the first round.
Exactly.
Okay, well, that's really interesting. I think that the Niners are always a team. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye on because they play in the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about? And I know we're talking Rams and Niners here, but do you have any thoughts on the Seahawks and the Cardinals in this, to make up the rest of the division?
Seattle's going to lose some guys. They're going to lose some free agents this year, so they're not going to be the same team. Not saying that they can't stay good, because as long as they have their GM and their coach, I think they're going to be fine. The Cardinals, man, I don't know about the Cardinals. Like they just haven't been stability there for a long time. And they thought they got their quarterback of the future, and he's, a mental case, hurt a lot. Not people don't know if he's committed to the game. He likes to play Call of Duty video games and stuff. Like,
so I think the Cardinals will move off Kyler Murray. And
so do I.
one of my issues with a lot of Cardinals takes right now is a lot of them talk about the Cardinals as if Kyler Murray played a lot last year. He didn't, right? Like it was Jacoby Brissett for the majority of the season. So like the Kyler Murray era ended. Like how many games did he even play last year? 5? I don't know.
Yeah, he got a concussion. Like he got
Yeah.
dinged. It wasn't that many. I don't know. Like just the Niners season was so stressful towards me. I knew the Cardinals sucked last year, so I just pushed them to the background.
But it's always interesting though, because that's one of the things about the NFL that I love is if your team crushes the draft, you can be competitive pretty quick.
Yes, you can.
And with the Cardinals, they always go through this where like they hire a new coach and they get a little bit bump, right? And so I do expect Mike LaFleur to be a better head coach than what Gannon was. And I don't think the Cardinals are necessarily ready to, contend for the NFC West or anything, but I do think they're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, LaFleur, Shanahan, McVay tree of coaches. Now the NFC West is going to have a bunch of guys. They're all pretty much cut from the same cloth. Yeah. So I think the Cardinals will be better. Like you said, they do get a bump. They seem to always do that. They'll have a pretty good draft. They'll land some free agents, and they'll look, better. They just need stability in that organization.
Yeah.
For an extended period of time.
Well, because I think the longest tenured coach they ever had was Wisenhunt at 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a while since.
Right.
Yeah, the Niners, right now, I still feel like it's Rams and Seahawks in whatever order you want to put them. I guess you put the Seahawks in front because they won, but we have a talent deficit on our team that can be taken care of in one offseason. Yeah, like you said, if you bang the draft, the great thing about draft picks, though, too, Bayo, is you don't have to pay them right away.
Yeah.
So when you don't have to pay, you can spend money in other places. You can go out and make a trade for a Max Crosby, or you can go out and make a trade for this guy, or bring in even though he's kind of old and he was injured last year, like a Trey Hendrickson. You could take a splash like that because you're not paying other players in different places.
Yeah.
What's happened with the Niners is they had a lot of that, and then guys started needing to get paid. And unfortunately, when everybody starts to get paid, your cap money runs out. And if you're successful, you pick farther and farther back in the draft. So teams will go through kind of some ebbs and flows, suck for a bit. Maybe they'll the Chiefs. Maybe they have a down year next year, have a pretty bad draft, the draft pick or whatever. And all of a sudden they have a couple early round picks. They're picking earlier in the draft, blah, blah, blah. Guys retired, they get cap money, and all of a sudden, it'll be like I feel like Mahomes' career is going to be like Brady's. It's going to have a little lull in the middle, and then he's going to have like a second run.
Resurgent, yeah.
Yeah, I totally believe that. That's why I'm not sleeping on the Chiefs. I never sleep on the Chiefs.
Oh, no. Especially when you have generational arm talent like Mahomes, yeah.
I hate Mahomes because he's kicked our ass twice in the Super Bowl, but you got to give him his respect, even though he's a little bit of a flopper like LeBron. But yeah, man, it's I'm looking forward to the draft and free agency. Free agency is going to be cool because 49er fans are going to have mental breakdowns if we don't sign all the best free agents. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well, and do you know what? It's funny. Yeah, we'll take this question in a moment, Grant. It's funny just the overreaction that we live in doing this YouTube thing or content creating is you could have the most level-headed reaction ever, but you'll still see in the comment section people be like, they should have done more. They should have spent more money, right? And at the end of the day, right, you have to trust that your GM is doing the best to set your team up for success, right? So Grandize are asking, did you both cover, Aaron, what did the Niners learn from the Super Bowl and what should they have learned? Same question to Peo. Any thoughts on that last game?
We kind of talked about it, how the Niners, the Niners see where they need to be better.
Mm-hmm.
The two places we struggled against, and I'll let you touch on it. The two places we struggled against Seattle were the inability to, threefold. They couldn't stop the run. They gouged us in the run game, but I think that had a lot to do with just all the injuries of the linebackers and defensive line. But the inability to pass protect and the inability to get open downfield, you got to have dynamic players on the outside. You just have to. Yeah. So the Niners learned, because the Rams do have dynamic players on the outside. If you want a chance at beating that defense, one, you got to spread them out, and two, you got to have guys that can get open downfield quickly. If you got guys that stay covered and can't uncover against man coverage with that pass rush, with a bad O-line, you're screwed. Yeah. So, yeah, the Niners learn exactly where they need to get better.
Yeah, and I would say for the Rams, just, essentially just realizing that Seattle will attack your smallest little weakness, right? And for the Rams, it was definitely their special teams and their corners. And so that, and I wouldn't even say the Rams have the worst corners in the NFL. Just they're not, like, they're kind of mid at times.
Yeah, I noticed that when we played even with Mac Jones. I'm like, man, the one place where the Rams are gettable is in the secondary.
Yeah,
their front is good. Their front seven is good, but I noticed that too. I was like, that's the one place. And when you talk to Niners fans, when we do like pregame shows about the Rams, well, we'll always talk about how like their pass rush and their front seven's good, but their secondary is gettable. So
the Rams have kind of been shopping at the bargain bin for corners for the past couple of seasons, and we definitely missed the days of like prime Jalen Ramsey. And so hopefully we'll get back to that this year.
Glad. Oh yeah, you got those are 2 year guards. I'll say, who are those guys?
Yeah, no, those are on the Rams. Yeah, no, K-Dot and Steve Avila, they're beasts. Yeah, I agree.
You guys got to. That's the thing too. Like I think we learned from the Rams too. Like if you got to invest in the trenches. Mm-hmm. The Niners, when they were really good, say what you want, but the Niners have been, conference championship and Super Bowl since like 2019, whether they won or not, Yeah. And the way that they did it was drafting really good defensive linemen and having a great defensive line rotation. And the Niners got to get back to that. You got to add as many bodies as possible on the D line, and you got to have guys that can rush the quarterback.
I do have a question for you about your quarterback. We haven't even talked about Brock Purdy at all this stream. Mm-hmm. Is there a concern that Brock Purdy is becoming, like, he's starting to get the injury prone label on him?
I mean, other than the injury that he suffered against the Eagles, he had been fine regardless. So he's had 2 major injuries. He's had a UCL, and he's had the turf toe. Yeah, Niner fans have definitely talked about it. But a lot of Niner fans also say, like, if our offensive line was better, what happened against the Eagles a couple seasons ago in that championship game where he tore his UCL wouldn't have happened. But like, if we could actually protect the guy and he wasn't taking shots all the time, we wouldn't have this problem. So yeah, I worry about him. He's not big. He's kind of short and thick. They call him Baby Bosa, like his legs, because he's got really thick lower half. Or they call him BCB. He can figure out what the C means. But yeah, but a lot of Niner fans will say, like, yeah, but they just invest in the offensive line, they get better, then we don't have to worry about it as much. But that's why a lot of 49er fans and a lot of content creators, the big ones that get all the views, say that there's a good chance they have a feeling that if the Niners end up trading Mac Jones, they might bring in Kirk Cousins for the backup quarterback position. So that would be a pretty good insurance policy. Not saying like he's anything like he used to be, but if that's your backup quarterback and you got to win a couple games and you have weapons and you have Kyle as your quarterback, you'll be all right.
Yep.
Hopefully. Then again, I could be completely wrong and he's complete garbage, but we'll see. Brock has declined 9.6 year for 8.5. Now, the Niners also have that's just their offensive line has been horrendous, and they don't have dynamic weapons anymore, Kenny. They just don't have the dynamic weapons like they used to.
Well,
They
and
just
I feel like Brock Purdy at his best is when he's a point guard quarterback.
yeah,
right?
he's a facilitator. He's essentially Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I'm okay to admit that. Like,
Yeah.
that's what he is. He's a
There's
better
nothing
version of
wrong with
Garoppolo for sure, but that's what he is.
You can win a lot of games with that if you have a good, good quarterback at doing that.
If 49er fan, if I asked a 49er fan right now, other than the people that grift, who are part of the 49ers supposed, content creator, part of that Grant Cohn clique, they'll always crap on Brock regardless, even if he's doing well. Another quarterback will play horrible in the playoffs, and somehow they bring it back to Brock. It just never stops. The thing I'll say about Brock that most 49er fans will agree with, 49er fans just want us to win a Super Bowl. If Brock is going to be a top 12 to 14 quarterback his whole career and we win a couple rings, nobody cares. Nobody cares. I mean, look at Buffalo. They have arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, elite. They don't win jack crap because it's all him and nothing else. So having an elite quarterback, but not having anything built around him, and you're just, first of all, his career is going to start to take a precipitous dip with the amount of just shots that he takes.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have a team where a quarterback is not the greatest of all time, but they have a really good team around him, than to have a guy who is elite and has an elite arm and elite legs and he's big and he can do all this stuff, but they never win. So Niner fans right now, if you said, hey, Brock's going to be top 14 his whole career, we're going to win 3 Super Bowls with him, would you take that? I'd be like, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, but other content creators will be like, oh, it's, and they just did, they should have gave Trey Lance a chance. They're still talking about that, 3 years later. It's like, let it go. So,
and to kind of say, I was one of the people that when the Seahawks signed Sam Darnold, I was like, okay, he's going to stabilize the position, but you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold. I'm eating my words. There's proof on the internet. I was wrong. And I think Seahawks fans are a big fan of Sam Darnold right now, right?
I think, he played okay. He wasn't lights out in the playoffs. He played solid.
He didn't make any of the mistakes that he normally or he used to make.
Yeah, he didn't turn into a pumpkin. Yeah, he didn't turn into a pumpkin like he has in the past. He wasn't seeing any ghost. But I mean, I would say he was a better version of Jimmy Garoppolo in maybe 2019.
That's fair.
Or Jimmy Garoppolo would make those throws where they'd shut him down, and that was at the divisional or the championship game in 2019, and we just ran the ball the rest of the game with Raheem Mostert because Garoppolo was kind of starting to give the game away, and Kyle was like, screw this, and the Packers couldn't stop the run. So he's not that bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, Drake May, a lot of people have made him to be this next great quarterback, and he kind of got exposed to. We're so quick to just label people busts or label people great, like Jalen Daniels from the Commanders, second coming of whoever. The guy is 145 pounds soaking wet. You know what I mean? He's fragile. He had a down year this year. That we're so quick to make judgments, with quarterbacks and stuff. So yeah, man. It's pretty much everything. I had a good time talking Ram v 49ers offseason. Anything else you want to share before we get out of here? Oh, did we lose him? I think we froze. Either my internet dropped, guys, or he is frozen. Said he's frozen in the Canadian tundra. Yeah, I thought it was me. I have internet issues sometimes in my house. But let's see. We'll give him a second before he gets, before I end the stream, see if he comes back in here. Unless his internet dropped. Or maybe he just had to go. No draft crushes right now, man. I haven't really looked into the draft, to be honest with you. Uh, as far as players and who the Niners could go after. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back here. We might have lost him, guys. Well, guys, I think we're gonna end it here. It doesn't look like Pao's coming back, but I appreciate everybody coming through, mostly on the Rams fan side of things. Thanks for coming through and putting up with me for the last hour or so as I talked about my Niners. But had a good time with Pao. Great guy, great guest, great representation of the Rams fan base. And till next time, everyone, stay safe and healthy. Niner fans, I was going to say go Niners, but everybody else, take care and have a great rest of your night.